Alright, so I want this video to basically just be a PSA so people can avoid the mistake that I made today. I went and saw Longlegs. I went to the very first viewing at one of the theaters in town. I went with a few buddies, and it sucked. Hard. Bad. Um, my immediate reaction, and my reaction while watching it, was a combination of disgust from the level of mismarketing, utter boredom, and actually sadness at the thought that this movie was going to pocket a decent amount of money before people realize what it is. So I want to get out some quick thoughts, and I don't want to take a lot of time doing it because I want to put in about as little effort into this video as the people did crafting that movie. So, major things. Um, it's another one of those shitty movies that's almost entirely reliant on jump scares. They weren't earned. Just what we've all seen before. Lazy, quite disappointing. The things that were more atmospheric and creepy were quite on the nose and also lazy. Spoilers, I'll give a few examples. Doll's eyes opening, doll eyes glowing, demonic shadows. Really none of the atmospheric stuff from the advertisements and trailers translated to the actual movie, which is just awful. Um, Apparently, they think just being pale is scary, or having long hair. Apparently, that's scary. Really, none of these things worked, at least for me, or any of the people I saw the movie with. And from the looks of it, really anyone in the movie theater. Interesting. It just felt like we were all being pandered to. Uh, you're alerted almost every time anything even remotely creepy is about to happen with music or some worn out, trite sound. Um, the music itself, it felt like it played a much bigger role in the movie than it should have, and it was like carrying this trash heap of a film. It's way overdone, and it's awkward. Some of the song choices I thought were puzzling. The story, the plot, paper thin. So were the characters. None of these pieces really fit well together at all. Nothing really progresses or builds. Nothing feels resolved or really fits well together. It's it's like a first draft. No, it's not. It's like it's like a scene outline where someone's got like bullet points written down, and it's like someone just had all these cards with bullet points on it. They just threw them on the ground and picked them up, and this was the order we're going to make the movie in, and with roughly that amount of polish and effort. Yeah, it just boggles my mind. I also think this movie should be called Heavy Breathing, not Long Legs, because there are a ridiculous amount of elongated sequences in which nothing happens but basically just huffing and puffing. Like, I understand there's a role for like showing anxiety in characters, right? But this was way overdone, and it was distracting, and it didn't translate to me feeling it. It was more just like, this is way overdone, um, almost comical, I would say. Um, I mean, I thought the acting was pretty shitty across the board. It's like no one even tried. Um, the main character, she feels wooden, which is kind of funny if you see it all the way through to the end of the movie, which I hope you don't, but at least in the movie theater. But it kind of makes sense why she's wooden in the end, I guess. I'll give it that credit, but it was a very stale performance, and the other like FBI agent who's with her, partnering with her, his line delivery was very interesting. It didn't really fit with anybody else in the movie, in my opinion. It just felt very like matter of fact and wooden. I guess it does fit. Never mind. It does fit. Um, anyway, it was like Oz Perkins, who apparently wrote and directed the film, he told ChatGPT, write scary movie about a cult and serial killer. Um, and anytime anything even remotely creepy is said, make sure it's said either in a sing-songy voice or repeated 5 to 6 times. Because apparently singing is creepy and repetition is creepy, along with doing it in white makeup. Anyway, some of the more minor things. That the credit sequence was one of those cases where it was just longer than it needed to be, and just almost immediately threw me off with what I thought this movie was going to be. I also wanted to laugh in multiple parts. I had to resist laughing at what I think they were attempting to be, scary or creepy scenes. Um, Nick Cage's performance just didn't work for me, and I've seen him be capable in kind of roles where he lets out a lot of emotion or can act kind of scary in a way, like in Mandy. If you've seen that, there's a scene where he kind of freaks out. Well, several, but that worked more for me definitely than it did here. Anyway, I'll just wrap this up. So, takeaways. I don't think I've ever said this about a movie before, but I hope if you guys watch this that you do not spend your money on it. Do not support this movie until it's out on like streaming and spend $1 on it or something like that. But I think this is one of the biggest letdowns in terms of expectations with advertisements to actual product. And I don't want to reward that. This movie was basically like a slap in the face. It's almost disgraceful how lazy and tired it all is. I mean, to give it a little bit of credit, the only things I thought were kind of good were like the cinematography. I thought was occasionally interesting, but there was a lot of consistently just close-ups, close-ups, close-ups. Quick cut to snakes. I guess that's creepy as long as they're red. So, bottom line, thought it was basically a trash heap, and I would recommend you not giving it your money, or at least waiting. Wait for it to come out on streaming, for it to be free or a quarter, something like that. That might be worth it. Just to waste time, I guess. I don't know. I don't want people to reward this product with their hard-earned money. This product. I don't want it to be incentivized because this type of thing is not the direction that I think most people want horror to go, especially in relation to advertisement and final product. Sadly, I gave it my money. I wish I didn't, but this is why I'm putting out this PSA to hopefully prevent other people from doing the same. So, thanks for listening to my rant.
And I wanted to say one other thing, that I'm going to be watching the Rotten Tomatoes score, both the critics and the audience, over the next few weeks to see if, they're both doing fairly well right now. Audience is about 65, critics is about 90. I want to see if it declines a lot. If it does, I might make a video on it with graphing any potential declines or interesting movements in the ratings as more flow in, as more people go and watch this movie. I also wanted to say I've been looking at before my video uploads, just been scrolling through YouTube looking at what people who have already posted on this have to say, and I am shocked, actually shocked at the amount of people groveling at this movie. I don't know if they can't all be shells. They can't be. So I don't know what I'm missing. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. I went and saw it with, like I said, saw it with a few buddies. They all had the exact same just what the fuck reaction that I had. So did seemingly every person who left the theater who I looked at, and they just looked like they were in utter dismay and like they had lost an hour and 40 minutes or whatever. That is one saving grace of the movie. It is relatively short, but they could have cut out another 20 minutes and it would have flowed better because it was nearly devoid of content as it was, so you could have trimmed it down a little bit. Anyway, enough. I already did my rant, so thanks for tuning in a little more.